Taupe is a wonky, very thrashy mess that we try and tidy up as we go.
We're a band that like people to tap their feet. Not so esoteric that you can't just enjoy it on that basic level.
I am Maja Bugge, and I come from the very north of Norway, some islands above the Arctic Circle called the Vesterålen Islands, and that's where I was born and I was brought up, and I lived there for 20 years.
So if I had to sum up Inclusion Principle very quickly, I'd say that it was an improvising group that moved from very spacious abstraction through to ferocious intensity. It didn't forget its jazz roots. It included traditional jazz skills in its playing, but it added a whole dimension which was completely different.
I have to stand out some way, so I just sort of tried to not change the genres completely, but just find other musicians that have got other contacts and just get out a bit more away, not away from Grimsby altogether, but just to explore different towns and cities.
I'd say our music combines the kind of intellectual content of jazz with the sort of power and energy of rock music.
We really try and blur the boundary between structured composition and improvisation and try and mask that boundary in the performance as well. So you might, as a listener, find it maybe not be sure what's happening, whether something's composed or whether it's improvised.
So I can play all kinds of time signatures, all kinds of influences from other kinds of music, anything that I feel like doing that seems appropriate or even seems inappropriate. Sometimes it can feel like the best thing to do is to go completely against what you're hearing.
We live in a time where things just go quicker and quicker and quicker, and there is very little room for that stillness. And so I suppose that would be an aim for me, that the audience brought, maybe that the pulse went down a little bit, that they quietened down.
Andrew plays rock. Otto's more from a contemporary classical background, would you say? It's an oversimplification, but you use a lot of those techniques
for these
in your
purposes.
playing.
I think I got fed up with composers asking you to make a cool sound and then asking you how to write it down and then writing it in a piece and calling it their piece. So we just do it ourselves now. It's kind of easier.
We have to think about everybody. It's not just a jazz audience, so we have to think about a little bit more, not cabaret, but a little bit more accessible to people who aren't just into jazz.
is just a brilliant opportunity to get my work out there in a phase of my life where I have little children and are at home a lot of the time. So I suppose it comes at a perfect time in that sense.
To be part of Northern Line really means that we may have, if everything goes well, access to venues that wouldn't normally know of us.
It's a tick of quality, I suppose, and what it allows us to do is to be able to approach promoters and venues and say, well, look, we are an ambassador artist for Jazz North within Northern Line, and it's an exciting thing. And it just gives a stamp of authority, I suppose, in terms of what we're doing.
Yes. Tim Carter on the drums, John Marley at the bass, Martin Longhorn, keyboards, and Mr. Ian Schwab on the trumpets.